Hi folks, it's Switchback. This is a quick and dirty version of what to consider when you're shopping for a sleeping bag or a quilt for backpacking or camping. If you want the more in-depth and nerdy version, I have this video right up here. I will also link it at the very end. As far as a sleeping bag versus a quilt, which of those two do you want? Now, a sleeping bag is more traditional. It's going to completely encapsulate you. It probably has a hood. It'll probably be less drafty, although there are ways to cinch down a quilt so that it's not real drafty. Now, a backpacking quilt is going to be less bulky, lighter in weight. It's going to give you more room to move around. It's very common among hammock sleepers, although ground sleepers, like including tent sleepers like myself, do use them as well. It does require a little bit more skill if you're using pad straps anyway. What is your budget? Some of us have a bigger budget than others. It's always got to be a consideration. Conditions. Is it going to be humid? Does it rain a lot? Is it dry? Are you like in the desert? Do you tend to sleep in a hammock or on the ground, either in a tent or cowboy camping or in some other way of ground sleeping? Are you often at altitude where temperatures can feel a little bit more extreme than they might at sea level? Speaking of temperatures, let's talk about temperature rating. And these are rarely accurate. Now, when you're thinking about what to adjust on this, look at how you sleep. Are you someone who tends to sleep really warm or cold? Do you get cold easily? And you also want to look at what you're sleeping in, like if you're wearing base layers and a hat and all that kind of stuff. In general, you'll want to look for something that's rated 15 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit or 8 to 11 degrees Celsius lower than the lowest temperatures you expect to be in. And even that is kind of give and take. With my 15-degree sleeping bag, for example, the lowest it's really comfortable in without having to start putting on extra blankets and liners and that kind of thing is about 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Like everything else in backpacking, weight is a factor. And you may have to sacrifice a little bit of weight in order for it to be warm enough. But if your budget allows, you may be able to find something that's pretty light and still keeps you pretty warm. You have to look at your particular body. Are you a bit fluffier like I am? Are you slender? You want to look at how much space you're going to have in a bag, and you want to look at how tall or short you are. Leaving a lot of space in a bag can make you colder because that's that much more empty space that has to be kept warm. Gender-specific bags will have insulation in different places based on where that particular gender generally tends to lose heat. And so, male and female bodies generally have different fat distribution, so the insulation on a bag will be different. Look at how you sleep. Do you tend to move around a lot? Are you staying in one place? Do you need room for moving around? Do you really prefer to be snug down like a burrito? Consider the volume or the bulk of the bag or the quilt because it can take up half of your backpack just by itself, especially if it is a synthetic. Speaking of synthetic, down or synthetic fill is another factor. Really briefly, synthetic is basically a plastic-based, petroleum-based filling, and then there's down, which there's different fill powers. So the lower the number, the bigger the feathers basically, and the higher the number, the smaller, which means that it's more compressible for the weight. Even the best sleeping bag or quilt can't keep you warm without the right insulation underneath you. And if you're looking for a good sleeping pad and what to get, look for this video right down here. And if you want the nerded out version of everything we just talked about, I've got this one up here. If you got some value, please be sure to like the video and subscribe. It really helps out the channel and helps me to reach more people to help them get outside safely and responsibly. And I really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.